Welcome back once again to Critical Rocket, looking at another one of the clan mechs. Today is the first of the mediums that I'll be looking at. It's the Nova, also known as the Black Hawk to Inner Sphere forces out there on the embittered front of the Lyran, Razelhag and Draconis space. This mech is kind of infamous within Battletech lore and, well, Mechwarrior Online soon to be. The Nova is relatively small for a medium in stature, but it packs quite a hell of a punch. 6 medium lasers in each arm, 12 clan ER medium lasers, and that's a hell of an alpha. This will put people in Mechwarrior Online in mind of the Death Star Punchy. Anyone who's played that knows that it's a huge amount of damage. If you sneak up on something, you're going to open up their armor, if not outright kill them with a good shot. This is what the Clan Nova basically is, at least the Prime variant. Other variants out there will mix in a few ballistics with the lasers, but it's primarily the Prime version is built around just energy weapons, and it's a real killer. My version is not much different from what's already available. All I've done is I've taken out one medium laser from each arm to cut down on the heat. The problem is the mech is in Mechwarrior Online, due to the ghost heat situation, is incredibly prone to shutdowns, and if you're not careful, depending on the map you're on, anything like Terra Therma or Tourmaline, you will shut down if you fire all 12 medium lasers or clan ER mediums at the same time, and you'll just fry your internals and you'll be dead. It can make it be quite amusing when you see a player panic in one of those things and they fire them all and they immediately shut down in the middle of a fight, and they're just easy pickings. But yeah, it's got really high damage potential. Obviously, the best way to run the mech is to have one arm firing all of the guns and the other arm firing the remaining guns, or chain fire if you don't mind really sort of harassing larger mechs from a distance, especially obviously Inner Sphere mechs where clan ER mediums have particularly good range. The Nova has a couple of neat little features. Obviously, as you can see there, its jump jet capability comes in handy. I mean, even with the recent jump jet changes, it still makes the mech capable of being able to get to places that heavier mechs wouldn't be able to follow it. And it's got a decent speed, 81 kph. Again, because of the clan engine lock, it's not going to be outpacing Inner Sphere mediums of the same weight class, but the clan mechs really don't need to. As you probably know by now, clan mechs have superior weaponry in both range and damage. They just pay for it with higher heat and slower recharge values. As you can see here, I mean, I've still got the one in the torso firing. I did originally consider taking the torso mounted laser out, but I came to the conclusion that if I get my arm blown off in a fight, I effectively become a zombie, and it's useless at least having the two ones in the torso. I can keep fighting. Its drawbacks are a few. Obviously, the heat is the first drawback issue. If you're not experienced in running a Nova Prime, you are going to quickly run into heat issues. But to be honest, a lot of players tend not to run this build. They tend not to run the 12 mediums anyway. They prefer running more pinpoint builds, dual PPCs, or a few ER large lasers or pulse lasers or something like that. I prefer sticking with this one. I actually find that it's a great support build. But another drawback it has, like nearly every clan mech, go on a limb, I think every clan mech, its arms, like all the others, are quite low down. So you have to be aware that, about of the terrain that you're fighting in, because if you fire, you may just end up like pumping 6 or 5 or however many lasers into a wall or the floor, and you've got all that heat and nothing to show for it. So just be careful when running the Nova in a sort of sniping, sort of early skirmish part of a map. You just want to be careful about that. And basically, the way I run the Nova is stay with a group, wait to see what the group are doing, who they're targeting, and if a target of opportunity presents itself, let rip, because you're going to do a high amount of damage. If you find a wounded target, you're definitely going to blow a limb off, or you're going to get some components, or you're even going to get a kill. Although I wouldn't really run the Nova Prime as a mech that goes for kills, I'd run it as a mech that goes for limbs. Because it's got enough raw firepower that 1 or 2 salvos will rip an arm off, they'll severely damage or blow a leg off. On certain mechs you'll take a torso off. I find this to be a great mech to use against mechs that have big left and right torsos, like Jaegers, Battle Masters, those kind of mechs, because you can just pinpoint all of that laser fire into one spot and really ruin someone's day, especially if you've got XL engines. Visually, I quite like the Nova. It's one of those mechs that never really needed a redesign because the original actually looked quite good for what it was in the tabletop. Although obviously this is a much more modern, up-to-date interpretation of the mech, it's still extremely good looking. It's probably, unfortunately I don't think it's one of the top picks for players, but Mechwarrior Online, the medium category, much like the light, is a maligned weight class that really struggles to get that recognition on the field. But I really think if anyone is considering picking this up as in a la carte or waiting for it to come out for C-bills, which it will be eventually, I don't think you'll regret this mech. It's a great little workhorse. It'll you know, provide results. It's not easily taken down. As you can see, I've taken a beating through this match. Some pretty high alphas I've taken. I'm still rolling around. This map is great because the Nova is so hunched down because its shoulders are sort of the same height as its head. You can really get behind a building or a little hill and avoid tons of fire. Its speed allows it to dodge most incoming LRM fire. But yeah, watch those lasers because you can see throughout this match I've shot the floor or a building several times. But yeah, there you go, there's the Jaeger example. They're so wide, it's perfect fodder for the Nova.
Heat level critical.
Obviously, it will suffer on maps that aren't like Frozen City, where the heat dissipation is a bit quicker. Terra Firma is a very different style of play. You'll want to pop and shoot. You won't want to stand there and maneuver and fire. You'll want to again use it in a support role. I would never advocate pushing with a Nova. It's not a mech for that particular role. It's a mech that's good at sort of being in the middle of a melee and putting in that damage, and sort of swinging a fight in your team's favour. When you're fighting a Nova, I'd say go for the arms primarily. Most of a Nova's weapons, regardless of the variant, will be stored in the arms. That's where the meat of its firepower will come from. So don't worry about the CT or the legs. As big a target as they may be, just go for those arms, because as soon as you de-arm a Nova, it's not much of a threat. But this match is wrapping up now. Not doing bad there for damage, not doing bad for kills. I was quite pleased with this one, although I think you'll be impressed with the Stormcrow video even more. It's on the same map, just look at the draw really. But yeah, again, thanks for watching folks, and stay tuned for more of the Mechwarrior Online clan pack mechs as I get through them, basically. What have we got here? Oh, not bad kills, not bad damage. 447 and 3200 XP. Can't complain.